6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundit Avam. The new president to take oaths in Parliament today. The CBSL chief confident Sri Lanka can overcome economic crisis within 5 months. The IMF hopes to complete the Sri Lanka aid talks as quickly as possible. The National Fuel Pass trial in Colombo from today. Court order against protesters near the Bandaranaike statue. In foreign news, Russia expands war aims beyond East Ukraine. President-elect Ranil Wickremesinghe will be sworn in as the 8th executive president of Sri Lanka today. Wickremesinghe will take oath as the new president of Sri Lanka at the parliamentary complex. He defeated SLBC MP Dallas Alahaperuma and JVP leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake to secure a majority of votes in the secret ballot that was held in Parliament yesterday to elect a new president. Following his appointment, his parliamentary seat will become vacant, which enables his United National Party to appoint an MP through the party's national list seat. The Presidential Media Division said that all parliamentarians and former UNP parliamentarians have been invited to participate in this solemn but a simple ceremony. Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, after being elected as the new president in Parliament yesterday, requested Speaker Mahindayapa Abeyewardena to give him the opportunity to take oath at the Parliament complex. This is the first time in the history that an executive president is going to be sworn in as the president at the parliamentary complex. The first executive president of the country, G.R. Jayawardena, took oaths before Chief Justice Neville Samarakoon at the Goldface Promenade, while President Ranasinghe Premadasa took his oaths before then Chief Justice Parinda Ranasinghe at the Pattiripua of the Sacred Temple of the Tooth in Kandy. The Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, says he is confident that Sri Lanka can come out of this severe economic crisis within a period of 5 months. Quote, "We have a clear program and a clear path," unquote, he added. In an interview with the CNN, the Governor said Sri Lanka will, however, experience a difficult time until then. If Sri Lanka has a stable administration from tomorrow onwards, we can make strong decisions by the administration, Dr. Veerasinghe pointed out. Speaking further, the CBSL governor said he is hopeful that people would be patient until Sri Lanka can ride out the crisis situation over the next couple of months. With regard to how concerning the country's current situation is, the governor said the liquid resources in the central bank are almost non-existent because these resources had to be utilized to support the import of some shipments of petroleum products and LP gas supplies. Starting from next month, Sri Lanka will negotiate some bridging financing facilities from friendly countries such as India and China, the governor continued. When asked about the financial support extended by India and China, the governor said he is hopeful that India would continue to support. However, it depends on the new administration's negotiations and talks with the neighbouring country, he explained. According to the governor, Sri Lanka has also made some requests from China on relaxing some of the conditions in a swap facility. If India and China agree to continue to support the island nation, the situation can be improved until the IMF's bailout package is made available, Dr. Veerasinghe added. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The public has been prohibited from assembling near the SWRD Bandaranaike statue near the Goldface Green in Colombo. An order was issued preventing people from assembling around a 50-metre radius distance from the statue. The court order in this regard was issued by the Colombo Fort Magistrate yesterday. The SWRD Bandaranaike statue has been a key landmark during the recent public protests that were held against the former president and his government. The pilot project towards enforcing the National Fuel Pass system from Monday will be trialled from today till this Sunday at filling stations operated by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. The Minister of Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara, said the pilot project will be launched and conducted in multiple locations in Colombo over the next few days based on the last digit of the number plate. Accordingly, vehicles with number plates ending 0, 1 and 2 can obtain fuel on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Vehicles with number plates ending with digits 3, 4 and 5 can obtain fuel on Thursdays and Sundays. and vehicles with numbers 6, 7, 8 and 9 on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Motorbikes will accordingly be issued fuel for 1,000 rupees, three-wheelers for 2,000 rupees and other vehicles for 7,000 rupees. President-elect Ranil Wickremesinghe has expressed his appreciation to the three armed forces and the police who performed their duties during the last few days. While leaving Parliament after the presidential election, newly elected president alighted from his vehicle at the roadblock near the Poldua junction and met with the armed forces personnel who were deployed on duty outside the Parliament and expressed his thanks to them. The three armed forces and the police provided security to the Parliament and the surrounding area for several days. The president-elect further said that he is thankful to all those who dedicated themselves to protect democracy. And that concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, says the IMF hopes to complete rescue talks with Sri Lanka as quickly as possible. Speaking with Nikkei Asia in Tokyo, Georgieva said the fund was, quote, very deeply concerned about the well-being of the people in Sri Lanka, unquote, which has been gripped by severe shortages of fuel, food and other essentials after its foreign reserves dried up. Georgieva vowed that the moment there is a government that we can continue our discussions with, our team will be there. She added that she was very hopeful that based on the good technical work already done and the fact that this technical team of Sri Lanka is already there, they can complete the program negotiations as quickly as possible. Georgieva said that the IMF would work with the Sri Lankan administration as long as the next leader enjoys support and the longevity to lead the country. And with that, we conclude the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka says it has approved a power cut of 3 hours for today. Accordingly, the power cuts are to be imposed for groups A to L and P to W, 1 hour and 40 minutes during the daytime and 1 hour and 20 minutes during the night. Group CC, 2 hours and 30 minutes from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Groups M and O, XYZ, 3 hours from 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and came to you in Watchlight. On to a bulletin of world news making headlines this morning. Russia expands war aims beyond East Ukraine. Wildfires rage in Greece, Spain and Italy as heatwave moves across Europe. And cheetahs to prowl India for the first time in 70 years. Russia's military focus in Ukraine is no longer only the east of the country, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said. In an interview with Russian state media, he implied Moscow's strategy had changed after the West supplied Ukraine with longer-range weapons. Russia would now have to push Ukrainian forces further from the front line to ensure its own security, he explained. The US had earlier accused Russia of preparing to annex parts of Ukraine. Russia invaded Ukraine in February, claiming falsely that Russian speakers in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region had suffered a genocide and needed to be liberated. Wildfires are raging across Europe where a heat wave has intensified drought conditions. Though temperatures have cooled in France and the UK, firefighters are still tackling blazes in Greece, Spain and Italy. The fires in France's badly hit southwest have started to be brought under control. And as the heat wave moves northeast, low water levels are hampering transport on rivers in Germany. Heat waves have become more frequent, more intense and last longer because of human-induced climate change. The world has already warmed by about 1.1 degrees Celsius since the industrial era began, and temperatures will keep rising unless governments around the world make steep cuts to emissions. More than 1,000 deaths have been linked to the extremely high temperatures in Portugal, while in Spain it is at least 500. For the first time in 70 years, India's forests will be home to cheetahs. 8 of them are set to arrive in August from Namibia, home to one of the world's largest populations of the wild cat. Their return comes decades after India's indigenous population was declared officially extinct in 1952. The world's fastest land animal, the cheetah, can reach speeds of 113 kilometers an hour. Classified as a vulnerable species under the International Union for Conservation of Nature nature red list of threatened species, only around 7,000 are left in the wild worldwide. Officials announced the agreement after spending the past 2 years working on how to transport the animals after India's Supreme Court decided in 2020 that they could be reintroduced in a carefully chosen location. The first arrivals will make their home in the state of Madhya Pradesh at Kunopalpur National Park, selected for its cheetah-friendly terrain. The timing of the move is expected to occur as the nation celebrates 75 years of independence. Back to the headlines of the world news. Russia expands war aims beyond East Ukraine. Wildfires rage in Greece, Spain and Italy as heatwave moves across Europe. And cheetahs to prowl India for the first time in 70 years. That concludes this bulletin of world news, and on to development news. Sri Lanka Insurance declares the largest life insurance bonus ever to be declared in the country, amounting to a staggering 9.8 billion rupees for the year 2021 to its life insurance policy holders. The 2021 bonus declaration increases the total life insurance premiums declared to policyholders since 2005 to 83 billion rupees, further enhancing the flexibility to adapt to the present environment. With the outstanding declaration, Sri Lanka Insurance has upheld the trust placed by the policyholders as the strongest insurance provider in Sri Lanka, despite the difficulties the country is experiencing due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the current stringent economic and social conditions. That's development news. Sports news up next.
Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Taking a look at cricket news first, Michael Bracewell got a hat-trick as New Zealand hammered Ireland by 88 runs in the second of the three 2020 internationals in Belfast. The tourists saw Dane Cleaver hit an unbeaten 78, with Finn Allen making 35 in their total of 179 for 4. Mark Adair and Craig Young took 2 wickets each for the hosts. Adair then posted 27 late on for Ireland, but Ish Sodhi and Bracewell took 3 wickets apiece as Ireland were all out for 91. And on to cycling news. Tadej Pogacar edged out Jonas Vingegaard to win stage 17 of the Tour de France, but was unable to break the race leader on an epic mountain stage. Defending champion Pogacar won the uphill sprint, but only cut Vingegaard's overall lead by 4 bonus seconds. The Dane now leads by 2 minutes and 18 seconds, going into Thursday's final mountain stage from Lourdes to Hong Kong. Britain's Geraint Thomas finished 4th to stay 3rd overall. Stage 17 to Pergrud's was the shortest road stage of the tour, but one of the most demanding, with 129.7 kilometre route from St. Gordons containing 4 categorised climbs in the final 76 kilometres. That's sports news. Business news up next.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Tesla, which made waves last year when it revealed a major investment in Bitcoin, has now sold off most of its holdings. The electric car maker said it had offloaded 75% of its Bitcoin, which is worth about $2 billion at the end of 2021. It is backing away as the value of the cryptocurrency has plunged, falling by more than 50% this year. Tesla said it brought traditional currency with $936 million from its Bitcoin sales. Tesla boss Elon Musk has been among the most high-profile champions of cryptocurrency, with his pronouncements on social media often driving significant trading activity. That's business news. Economic news up next.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
On to economic news, after enjoying a long reign as the king of streaming, Netflix faces a tough fight to keep its crown. It lost almost 1 million subscribers between April and July as more people decided to quit the service. The streaming giant has now lost members for 2 quarters in a row, but the drop was smaller than it feared. Asked what slowed the exodus, the firm's boss, Reed Hastings, said, quote, "If there was a single thing, we might say stranger things," unquote. That's economic news, and on to the weather report. Several spells of showers in the western province and in the Gaul and Matara districts. Showers or thundershowers at several places elsewhere during the afternoon or night. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Sabragamo, Central and Uva provinces. Strong winds about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in the Hambantota and Matara districts. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The new president to take oaths in Parliament today. The CBSL chief confident Sri Lanka can overcome economic crisis within 5 months. The IMF hopes to complete Sri Lanka aid talks as quickly as possible. The National Fuel Pass trial in Colombo from today. Court order against protesters near the Bandaranaike statue. And Russia expands war aims beyond East Ukraine. With that, we conclude this morning's news broadcast.